Hello guys, it's Ryan Ho back with another video. Today I want to talk about the Gold Planar GL2000 and why someone would be interested in getting this headphone. So this is an open back planar magnetic headphone, and it's really heavy because it has a huge driver. And I think that's one of the reasons why you get a headphone like this, because it has such a big driver. It covers your whole entire ear. It's able to create this big like 3D soundstage effect where you can hear sounds like all over the place. And I think that's its like party trick, because you're able to literally, I'll hear music where I can hear like someone stringing like the guitar like over here, and then I'll hear the bass like out there in front of me, and I'll hear like the vocalist like singing in front of me, and I can even hear like sounds kind of behind me. So there's really good positional audio where I feel like there's just a sphere around my head, which sounds really weird, and you just hear things coming from different directions, and they're very distinct and they're very separate. And it's like a very interesting experience. And I think it's very, like when I hear like 3D audio, this is really what I think about. This is like 3D audio without all of the like software people use from like, Apple, or like in the headphone that I reviewed, the HyperX Cloud Orbit. It really has its own like 3D effect and does it really well. I think that's one of the big like benefits of like buying this headphone. Of course, among that, it's like a very detailed headphone. And if you're looking for a headphone that's very like warm signature, what I mean by that is like it's very like unoffensive at all. It's like there's no like big peaks or like spikes and like sibilants or like anything that's like bothersome. It's all kind of like cleverly tucked away, and it has like a very warm experience in my opinion, and it sounds good. Oh, if you guys haven't already, please like and subscribe down below. It really helps my videos out. And let's get back to the video and talk about build quality. So let's talk about the build quality of this headphone. So I really like overall the look of it. I mean, it looks very premium, very nice. This is very nice. It's made of metal right here. This feels like metal to me, but it sounds like plastic. This also sounds like plastic, but it's really nicely made. And even if it's made of plastic, the one good thing about plastic is it reduces the weight. And that's probably the one downside about everything I like about this comfort, is that it's a heavy headphone. It's like 500 grams. So it kind of makes my neck sore after a while. I can wear it for like, and I've worn it for like 3 to 4 hours in a row, but then I normally get a little tired and take a break. But it's pretty good. And the cushion is just like, this thing is huge and it's soft. Like, I love this headband. Like from day one, I put it on, had no issues with it. But I can see people having issues because my head's kind of like already used to like a headphone that had even less cushioning, just only on top. And I'm not really bothered by it, but your mileage may vary. The ear cups are very big. They're huge. They fit my whole entire ear, and I can't even touch the side at all. And they're also very soft and cush. So comfort is honestly ideal on this headphone. Honestly, the clamp force too is just perfect. Like, I didn't have a problem. So the only thing I complain about is the weight. So this headphone comes with a really nice balance cable. It's a 3.5 millimeter to a 4.4 Pentacon balance cable. Connected to my DAC and amp, which is the iFi Zen DAC. It sounded really good and it gave adequate amount of power. However, you could run this off like an iPhone. So I have like an iPhone using this, and then through an adapter to 3.5 millimeter. It sounded okay. It wasn't like the best thing in the world because I don't think the DAC does any justice, but it sounded not too bad. But I also felt like you need more power. Like, I'm basically maxing out the volume when I plug it into an iPhone. So yeah, so I actually powered this headphone mainly through the iFi Zen DAC, and I feel like the power is more than enough because I also cooked it up to the iFi Zen can, and it didn't really need the power. It didn't really sound that much better. Honestly, it sounded worse, and I prefer the Zen DAC over it, especially when it could sufficiently power the headphone a lot, which tells you a lot about the power requirements. Even though they quoted like 2 watts, you don't need that much power. And also, like, the DAC also made the sound compared to like my iPhone. It was like, I felt like the sound in the iPhone, even like in my PC and even laptop, the sound kind of feels like it's very congested and like close to my face. And it's just like there. But then when I hook up the Zen DAC, it was just wider, bigger, and more spacious and round. And I feel like a good DAC pairing might be kind of required for this headphone, or else I feel like its party trick is Soundstage and that 3D effect. And if you don't have something that optimizes that, I feel like it might not be a fun experience. So let's talk about bass. Honestly, the bass of this headphone is very, very clean and you can hear like everything. However, some things I feel like are just a little bit lacking that because I've heard better. For example, this headphone is the HyperX Cloud Orbit S. The planar magnetic driver in this headphone is able to have more like impact, like you can kind of feel the hits a little bit better than this one. I feel like it has about like 80% of the impact as that headphone. So I know there's other headphones that could hit harder than this headphone, but overall it's very clean. And then I think a lot of people might be just like a little sad if you listen to like more modern genres like EDM or like even pop, where there's much more like bass. So like I feel like if you have like the iFi Zen DAC, you can click like the bass boost button, or you can EQ the bass and it will sound even better. So I feel like the quantity of bass could be more, but I think it's perfect in the right amount. It's kind of neutral and balanced. Now, if we move on to the mids of this headphone is actually really good. It's very clean, but I can see people saying like, okay, they don't really like the mids because there's this weird dip that makes it sound like muffled. And I kind of agree that like, yes, you can EQ it up, but I think this sound signature this headphone's going for is more of like a relaxed and smooth experience. And in that sense, yeah, I think the mids, which is like the vocals and instruments, do a good job of keeping it nice and relaxed. So you can listen to it for a long time, like hours and hours a day, without feeling kind of like, piercing, sibilant or anything. It's just very comfortable listening experience. So when it comes to the treble, it's very like warm, relaxed, unoffensive at all. It's very just warm experience. And I find it very comfortable to listen to. I never ever felt uncomfortable. It was the easiest listening experience ever. The only time that it felt uncomfortable is when I swapped the pads to the hybrid pads that are kind of like they have holes in them, perforated pads, and those you can definitely hear you lose the bass and then you gain a bunch of treble, and then that's when I started feeling that like uncomfortable treble experience that like I just didn't enjoy at all. And he also lost the bass, which it already the bass is like good. After that, the bass is kind of lacking. So it's like, but I think the bass is a little cleaner because in the sense that like it's less boomy because it's like less stuck inside the headphone, but it's just not as great of an experience. In my opinion, I would just skip on using those pads. For me, I definitely like the leather pads a lot more. Overall, I feel like the sound of this headphone is just so like it's just like everywhere. It's just so omnipresent. Like you hear the bass come like around you. All the sounds are just like huge around you. It feels like I'm listening to music like in my car, if that makes any sense. It's like you have like surround sound in your car. And I feel like I'm listening to music in my car because it's just such a nice, like spherical experience and just encompasses you and wraps you around. And it's a very, very cool experience because I feel like when I listen to like my other headphones, like the HyperX Cloud Alpha, those are just like little 40 millimeter drivers. Like you can hear the sounds coming from this little point in time. But this thing is like this gigantic thing that's just like the side of your ear. All right, so let's talk about some sound comparison. So the other headphone I heard was the Monoprice M570. That's an open back planar magnetic headphone as well. I reviewed it like a month ago. I feel like that headphone compared to like the bass, that bass had like the impact might have been a little better than this one actually, but the like sub bass extension was just not there. Like unlike this headphone, it just has much better extension in the bass, and overall, it's just a higher quality headphone. I mean, I would expect that because it's kind of double the price of that headphone. And I feel like the mids, this one easily wins. That one kind of had this very distant mid feeling. It's kind of like the same like scoop out, but like everything just sounded very far in that headphone. Versus this one is able to make sounds like close and far. That one was just like far further. And then when it comes to like the treble, I feel like that was the best thing about that headphone. That is actually even I would consider it's opposite this headphone. So I don't know if I could say it's better, but like it was better in the sense that like you can hear the extension of sound. It just like felt like it went forever. And like when you listen to like music, it especially live music, everything sounded much more like lively and like it gave music like soul. It was a very like interesting experience. Like I felt like that headphone is a very lively headphone, and I really enjoyed that aspect of this headphone that I definitely don't get from this headphone, because this is more like a relaxed headphone, right? And while that one was like a very active, if you're looking for that experience, go for like the modern price M570. If you're looking for that relaxed experience, go with this headphone. But yeah, overall, this headphone is higher quality than the M570, but I can see why someone would choose one over the other. So in conclusion, would I recommend this headphone? I would say yes, if the weight won't bother you. I think the weight is one of the biggest things about this headphone. It's 500 grams, and that's pretty heavy. The comfort is really well. It's very comfortable, but that weight can get to people, and you gotta be prepared to work out your neck, get it strong to wear this headphone, or else you're gonna have a sore neck all the time. But besides that, if you're looking for that, like I said, warm, relaxed experience, you'll get it. If you're looking for like that, like more brighter experience, this headphone's probably not for you. You're probably not gonna like this headphone. But you can definitely EQ the headphone whichever way. So I've EQ'd it a little brighter just to test it out, and it did sound great. But I could totally listen to this headphone default without EQ, which is totally fine with me as well. So I think this sound signature, this headphone, is perfectly fine. No EQ is required, but you can if you want. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe down below. It really helps me out, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have down below. And yeah, check out my other videos. I made other videos about the Zen cans and DAC and other headphones. So check those out. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.